Okay, so I wanted to do a quick little demonstration here on the differences between UART and of course I left the keys inside, so that was smart. So the difference between UART and serial data and the speed at which it interacts. Unfortunately, I don't have, at least I haven't found, a car here. I can compare serial data to CAN data later on in this video series, but at any rate, the speed at which with which this communicates is radically different. So I've got the meter set to ground, okay? Remember, we didn't have anything on serial data before. Now you can watch the meter, and the meter's moving, okay? So this is UART. This is on the 96 Camaro, okay? So this is the slower of the two communication systems. You can see that it moves, but it's still too fast for the meter, isn't it? So if you want to see that it actually goes to ground, we're going to have to put a scope on it and all of that good stuff. Now, I haven't changed anything on the scope, but I've moved it over here to the 2003 Rendezvous, and I've set it up so you can watch how fast this happens. Okay, that's the difference between UART in the Camaro and this right here that we're watching now, right? And you watched it on the scope and how fast it was in the Camaro. Well, now you're seeing how fast serial data is, pardon me, in the Rendezvous. Okay, so now what we can do is we can show you with the meter how much you're not going to see, okay? That's exactly how much you're not going to see if you're hooked up to serial data with the meter. It doesn't hardly move at all, right? So there you go. And then there are two different protocols, I believe. Yes, this one, the serial data, you can see starts low and pushes high, right? Because the main baseline is right here. Now, when we were in the other car and we were watching UART, it started at 5 volts and it shifted it low, didn't it? So basic difference. Now, the reason this has to be this much faster is because we have multiple modules on this line. So let's go back over and we'll take a look at the schematic on the computer, and I'll show you how many different modules are on that line. Now, on the other one, we had 2. Okay, now here are the combs that I was talking about. These combs right here, okay, have all the different wires to all the different modules on serial data, right? Now, remember, we talked about the fact that everybody has to have a turn. So we send out an address every time for who that message is for, right? All right, well, hang on just a minute. I think I have one of those combs in my box. Let me grab it. All right, pardon the delay, but this is what we have, okay? So I'll go ahead and open this, and we'll get a really good look at it. This is a new, I don't remember why I have this. Maybe it came with something. Maybe I shifted something off of another vehicle. I don't remember. Anyway, all of your leads come into this piece right here, okay? So this is your connector body. That's where all of these leads will come into, okay, as different separate wires. Now, if we look at these, it matters what year it is, but all of these are different colors, okay? We have dark green, brown and white, gray, purple, light green, blah, blah, blah. Now, I can tell you for sure that on the newer Acadias and the newer vehicles, all of these wires are one color, whether they're purple or green, okay? This right here is going to be the comb, all right? Now, in this case, this is a ground comb. And the reason I say that is because this, okay, is attached to these, all right? It's one piece with that, if I recall correctly. And we can confirm that here in a second with the meter. So what happens is we... Okay, see, there's our little key, right? So there's our little key. So we put all of our wires in from the back this way, right? So all of our little terminals like this face upwards in here, okay? And then we go click, and we click that together, and that connects every single one of these wires together, okay? That's how we do serial data communication. That's what's called a star configuration. Okay, so remember, if you have one on a star that goes down, it takes down everybody. If it's a short, if it's an open, then at that point, it doesn't affect anything, does it? Okay, so then, the star and the loop, right, we talked a little bit about each one of those, and the star and the loop both have their own little issues. So if you open up the loop, then the loop can't talk to itself, can it? All right, so now that we've seen that, pardon the jumpiness of the video, what we're going to do is we're going to go back over to the car, and I'm going to show you something interesting that GM came up with. Exit out of that. Okay. And this is a really interesting tool. It's pretty great for a number of reasons, but it helps you diagnose all manner of communications issues. And it's starting to get cold, so I don't know how much longer I'm going to be playing outside, quite honestly. I may save the rest of this series, as it were, for tomorrow. Okay, so we'll disconnect this. So we saw how fast serial data works. Now what we're going to do is we're going to connect the MDI. So the MDI is going to connect to the computer through USB, and we are going to open the data bus diagnostic tool. Okay. Yes, we want to open that. Let's go. There we go. There we go. Okay, I don't need to know what the changes are. Just want to open the tool. Okay. Oh, that's right. Okay, well, we're going to have to do that real quick. So apparently they've linked this to GDS2. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to open GDS2. You know what, but we're going to have to do it through TIS. So now we'll have to wait. Yeah. Because this seat, no valid lease found. It's been a minute since I've used this. So always remember when you're using GDS2, use the close application button. So we're going to go in through TIS. Okay, back here, and we're going to go down here to TIS to web, and we're going to open it this way, and then it's going to ask us for our number or our password and all that. Okay, so we've got that open. That open. Okay. Are you ready? I think I'm ready. Would you hurry up and do it already? So let's see, snapshot. Okay, so it's linked to GDS2, but that's not where you open it from. All right, so now it'll open and it'll work. Yeah, launch through GDS2 TIS to renew. I just did. Were you not there? Oh, maybe I have to launch GDS2 in order to get it to renew. Let's see. No, that's not what I wanted to do, but okay. So we'll run that, check the installation. It's going to go through its little deal. Try to cut some of this sunlight down over here. That helps a little bit. It's just terrible, I think, is what it boils down to. I'm working against the western sun here. So, at any rate, so it's going to update its little deal here. Let's see. So now we're going to have to wait for this to go through its deal. Doesn't just happen to you guys, happens to me too. Sometimes you just have to wait. That's what happens when you don't use it real often. Yay, configuring GDS2. Da-ding, da-ding, da-ding. The good news is that I do have wireless in my driveway, so that's handy. I don't have to walk inside to do this. That always helps. Okay. So we did that. There's GDS2. All right, now let's go back. And try to open this again. Well, we're not getting a little warning, so that's good news. So let's open this up. Let's see, message monitor. Okay, so let's see. Terminal 1 not detected. Terminal 2 detected. Very good. So we'll use terminal 2. So this right here, okay, is going to be the changes in the voltage. Now this doesn't read it as fast as a scope. That's why it's a little jumpy and jaggedy, okay? So it's sending all of its information right here, okay? So, but we can go back to, let's see, there's the camera, there's settings, language selection, help. Let's stop this. Let's go to detected state, available, message monitor. Let's turn that on. Okay, terminal 2, you can see up here, terminal 2 is detected. Right, we don't have 6 and 14 because this is not a CAN car. Okay, so we show everybody right here, right? All of our modules right here. This is our message monitor, right? So, and it won't do detected state or measured voltage. It matters what year, make, model, and all that stuff is. Okay, and I'll show you guys this too again when we get to CAN. But all of this stuff, see, all of these guys are online. And if we have an idle time where they don't respond to a ping, it will show up here. And then if we were actually looking for that first active, if we had done it with the key on, it would tell us who was on the line first. So we can try that. Let's shut the car off. See, there you go. Now we have idle times. Now idle times tell you essentially who's powering down, right? So the BCM finally went offline when I pulled the key out. I do have the door open, so there you go. Now it's just counting. Now I've put the key back in, so the body control module is watching that, right? Now I'm bumping the key. Okay, key on. Ta-da! Now everybody's online, key on, engine off, and we can start the truck. See, and then we had a couple drop off. Now remember, we were talking about, do we have the right voltages at the right time when we turn the key to crank? Well, this is why we do that, okay? You saw the couple of them drop off. Well, they don't get power when you're turning the key to start. Does that make sense? So hopefully that does. At any rate, so this is the MDI message monitor, and you can see who's dropping off of the grid as far as that goes. So, and it will do the auto detect, which tells you which lines it has and all that stuff, right? So let's try detected state, and we'll go to on. Pin 2. What's that say? Could not connect to the DLC or the vehicle communication interface. Hold on. So let's go to detected state. Turn it on. Okay, terminal 2. I don't think I clicked it hard enough. And we'll turn, there we go. See, so detected state. So we're on data circuit. You can see it's data circuit 2. And these are all of our modules that are on it. Everybody has responded, so we're good to go there. Our longest response time isn't measured because everybody's constant on there. So let's try stopping this. We'll go to measured voltage. Okay, we'll start that. We'll go to terminal 2 again and start that. Okay, and there again, here's our graph. This damn thing. What a pain in the tuchus. Anyway, so that's our, that right there is our, hopefully you can, that's a little better. Now we can see the voltage spikes again across the screen, but obviously it's not as fast as a scope, so it's not going to be as efficient. So at any rate, and again, this is that comb style, this is that star style circuit. So if you have a star, then if you ground it, then you can't communicate with anybody. And if you open one, then what you need to do is you only have one module that won't communicate. So then you need to go to the comb usually if everything else communicates, and this is one of those tools that will help you find it, is the MDI bus tool. And you can figure out who's not communicating, and then like we've always talked about, you check power, ground, and communication. So one of the things that I always do, and I'm just going to shut this down because I'm done with it now, but the one of the things that I always do is I will start at the module and I will work my way back. As we always talk about, you know, we try to do the longest amount of wire first. So if you're looking at doing the longest amount of wire first, and we'll just give you one more look here at how fast that communication happens. That's why even the computer can't see it. It's so quick because the MDI isn't fast enough. So at any rate, I will ohm the communication line back to the DLC and see if I have continuity. If I have continuity, guess what? That's good. Then I will ohm that wire down to ground, and if I have a ground, then I won't have any communication in a star module. I won't be able to talk to anybody, but the wire may be intact. So if you ohm that wire to ground, then all of the communication is going right to ground wherever it's pinched. Does that hopefully you guys understand that. So that's kind of how that works. And then we've talked too about how you may lose 1/2 of your you may lose all of your communication if your wire is shorted on the CAN bus, and then we'll talk about tomorrow probably how to break that system apart and diagnose it. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the videos, and make sure to post your questions and comments. Talk to you later. Have a great night. Bye.